The desert was silent, wide, and endless. Soft winds moved across the pale sand, drawing long lines that looked like waves on a frozen ocean. In the middle of this empty land walked a small team of human scientists, their steps slow and careful as the sun burned above them. They followed a strange signal, something that no satellite, no drone, and no scientist had ever recorded before. Dr. Elena Ward, the leader of the team, raised her scanner again. The device kept shaking in her hands as a bright blue line blinked on the screen. There. The signal is moving up from under the ground, she said quietly. Her assistant, Malik, came closer, his face covered in sweat. How deep do you think it is? Elena looked around. The desert looked normal, just sand, dunes, and silence. But she felt something else here, like the land was breathing. Not very deep, she answered. Maybe a few meters. It is close. The team began digging with small tools at first, but then the ground suddenly vibrated. Everyone stepped back. Sand slid down the sides of the dune like water. A dark shape appeared under the surface. Malik's eyes widened. That is metal. And it was. A huge metal surface, curved and smooth, slowly came into view as the sand fell away. It did not look like anything made by humans. The material had no rust, no cracks, and no heat marks. It looked ancient yet untouched. Elena walked closer and brushed her hand on it. The metal was ice cold. This is not from Earth, she whispered. The rest of the team looked at each other, their breaths shaking. They had trained for years, studied deep scientific mysteries, but nothing prepared them for this. A hidden object, in the middle of the desert, giving off an energy signal strong enough to wake up satellites in orbit, it could only mean one thing. This was a spaceship. They worked for hours, digging and clearing as gently as possible. By early morning, more of the ship was visible, a long cylindrical body with strange patterns glowing faintly along its sides. The light grew brighter every time someone touched the surface, as if the ship could feel human presence. Elena stepped back and stared at the glowing lines. It is reacting to us, she said softly. Malik swallowed hard. You mean it is alive? She shook her head. Not alive like us. But not dead either. More like, sleeping. As the rising sun painted the desert gold, something unexpected happened. A soft hum began to come from the ship. It was low at first, almost like a heartbeat, then slowly grew louder. The ground trembled again. Everyone stand back. Elena shouted. Her voice disappeared into the sound of shifting sand as a large section of the ship's hull lit up, bright blue, then white. Lines of light traveled across the surface like electricity waking up inside veins. The hum grew deeper. Dust rose from the ground. A long and narrow door outlined itself on the ship's side. Then, with a deep metallic sigh, it opened. A cold wave of air pushed outward, blowing sand into the wind. The inside of the ship was dark, deeper and darker than any cave. The doorway felt like a mouth opening after a long sleep. The team froze. Malik lifted his flashlight with a shaking hand. Should we go in? Elena felt her heart beating faster, but she nodded. We came here to find the truth. And the truth is inside. They stepped closer to the entrance. The shadows looked strange, almost alive. Something inside was moving, slowly, very slowly, like the darkness itself was shifting. The smell of old air escaped from the ship. It was cold, dry, and heavy, as if sealed away for centuries. Elena took a step inside the doorway and aimed her light forward. At first, the beam showed nothing but long curved walls. Then it caught something else. Something high above. A shape. A figure. Hanging from the ceiling. The flashlight trembled in her hand. Everyone, stay behind me, she said. The figure moved. Just a little. Just enough to prove that it was not dust, not metal, not a shadow. Malik whispered, "Dr. Elena, something is inside this ship." The desert wind howled outside as the team stood inside the ancient doorway, staring into the ship's heartbeat silent halls. And the figure above them slowly turned its head. The figure hanging from the ceiling did not move again, but the silence inside the ship grew heavier. Dr. Elena stood still, her flashlight trembling in her hand. The beam of light touched the long limbs, the thin body, and the strange shape of its head. It was not human, but it also did not look like any creature known on Earth. Malik whispered, "Is it alive?" Elena took a slow breath. "We do not know. But whatever it is, it has been here for a very long time." The air around them felt cold, almost icy. The deeper they walked into the corridor, the more the ship responded to them. Soft pale lights lit up along the curved walls, one by one, like the ship was guiding them forward. The lights were smooth, steady, and almost beautiful, nothing like human-made bulbs. Malik looked around with wide eyes. "This ship knows we are here." The corridor led them deeper inside. The floor was smooth metal, polished like glass. Every step echoed endlessly, as if the ship had no end at all. Strange symbols covered the walls, glowing white, then fading, then glowing again. They looked like a language, but no human linguist could read it. Elena ran her fingers over the symbols. They felt warm. Almost alive. "This technology," she whispered, "is thousands of years ahead of us." They turned a corner and entered a large circular chamber. The room was huge, taller than a cathedral. In the center stood a raised platform surrounded by transparent pods. Some pods were cracked. Some were empty. And some still held shapes inside. Malik stepped closer, heart pounding. "This looks like a hibernation room." Elena nodded slowly. "Cryopods, or something similar." She walked toward a pod that was still glowing faintly. Its surface was smooth and cold. Inside was a figure, tall, thin, and nearly human-shaped. Its skin was pale silver. Its body was wrapped in a strange suit that looked like part armor, part skin. Its eyes were closed. Its chest was still. But the pod looked active. Alive. Malik leaned forward. If this one is still powered, could it still be alive? Before Elena could answer, the floor trembled under their feet. The soft hum they heard earlier grew louder, deeper, almost like a heartbeat coming from the walls. Then, a sharp hiss echoed in the chamber. Everyone froze. The pod in front of them released a thin stream of cold air. The transparent surface slowly cracked open, like ice splitting under pressure. A cloud of cold mist rushed out. The figure inside began to move. Very slowly, its chest rose. Then its hands twitched. Its eyelids trembled. Elena could not breathe. She stepped back, her mouth dry. Malik whispered, "Oh my God, it is waking up." The alien's eyes opened. They glowed with a soft white light, no pupils, no iris, just pure light, like two stars trapped inside its skull. It turned its head slightly, looking directly at Elena. Elena's voice shook. "We mean no harm." The alien tried to stand but collapsed to its knees. Its body shook, weak after centuries of sleep. Elena rushed forward and caught it before it fell. The alien looked confused. Scared. Hurt. It raised one hand and touched Elena's forehead. A sharp flash of white light filled the room. Suddenly, Elena saw images, fast, chaotic, overwhelming. A dying star. Burning planets. A giant fleet chasing the ship. The alien falling through the sky and crashing into the desert long before human history even began. She gasped and dropped to her knees. Malik rushed to her. "Elena. What happened?" I saw its memories," she said quietly. It came to Earth running from something. Something powerful. The alien stood slowly, trying to balance. It looked at Elena with soft, glowing eyes and spoke in a language they could not understand. The sound was deep and haunting, almost like singing. But the ship understood. Lights across the chamber brightened. Walls shifted. Symbols changed. The ship reacted to its pilot. Elena steadied herself. This ship, it is alive. And it wants us to know something. Suddenly, alarms echoed through the corridors. Red lights flashed. The hum became louder, shaking dust from the ceiling. The scientists looked around in fear. What is happening? Malik shouted. Elena stared at the alien. The alien pointed upward. Above the desert. Above Earth. Something else had arrived. The red lights continued flashing across the alien ship, casting moving shadows across the curved walls. The sound of the alarm was low but powerful, like a deep heartbeat echoing through the metal. Dr. Elena stood completely still, trying to understand what had triggered it. Malik looked at the alien, hoping it would explain, but the alien's glowing eyes were focused upward, toward the desert above them. Something was coming. The alien raised its hand slowly. A bright symbol formed in the air, floating like a hologram. The symbol turned, shifted, and then broke apart, showing strange shapes that moved like a star map. Elena stared at it, trying to make sense of the images. What is it showing us? Malik asked. Elena stepped closer. I think, it is showing us space. The hologram zoomed in. Stars flashed by. Lines connected them like paths. Then the image stopped at a red blinking point, far away from Earth. A shadowy shape appeared over that point, a giant ship, larger than any human knew existed. Its outline looked sharp, aggressive, alive. The alien pointed at it. Elena's throat tightened. Something is coming from that direction. The alien closed its eyes and sent another wave of memories into the air. This time the images were clearer. The humans saw a beautiful alien city lit with blue lights. They saw the alien species, tall, peaceful, intelligent. Then the vision changed. Fire. Explosions. Creatures with dark armor breaking into the city, destroying everything. The peaceful race running. Hiding. Dying. Malik stepped back. They were attacked, by something powerful. The alien nodded. Then another memory appeared, the alien ship fleeing, engines burning, chased by the same dark ships. A blast hit the ship, tearing off pieces, forcing it off course. The alien crashed into Earth's desert, alone, injured, with only one mission left, to hide something. The image faded, and the alien looked at Elena with sad eyes. Elena whispered, "You were not coming here to attack us, you were escaping." Before she could say more, the ship's alarm grew louder. The lights on the walls turned from red to dark purple. This time the alarm did not sound like danger, it sounded like a warning. Malik checked his scanner. Elena, energy levels outside are rising. Something is entering the atmosphere. Elena turned to the alien. Are they coming for you? The alien lowered its head slowly. For the first time, fear filled the chamber, not from the humans, but from the ship itself. The floor vibrated under their feet. Dust fell from the ceiling. The central platform lit up with white light. The ship wanted them out. Elena, we need to get to the surface. Malik shouted. The alien walked forward, placing one hand on a metallic pillar. The pillar sank into the floor and the whole chamber shifted. The walls moved like living muscles, forming a spiral path leading upward. Elena understood the ship was opening a way for them. Let us go, she said. They climbed the spiral walkway, the walls glowing brighter every second. The hum grew deeper, stronger. The ship was rising, slowly pushing itself out of the sand that had buried it for centuries. When they finally reached the top, the desert air hit their faces. Sand blew across the open hatch. The sun was low, painting the sky orange. But the desert was not silent anymore. A crackling sound filled the air. Elena looked up. Blue lightning streaked across the sky. Clouds twisted unnaturally. Something massive entered the atmosphere, hidden behind a blinding light. Malik stepped back in fear. That is not human, and that is not natural. The alien stepped outside the hatch and stared upward. Its glowing eyes dimmed for a moment. It knew exactly what was coming. The light split open the sky. A dark triangular ship appeared, moving silently. Its size was unbelievable, so large it covered part of the sun. Its edges glowed with blood-red energy. Elena whispered, "They followed you here." The alien nodded and raised its hand. A symbol appeared above its palm, a warning. Malik's voice trembled. "Elena, they are not here to talk." The dark ship turned slowly, aiming something toward the desert. The air got heavier. A low hum filled the sky. Elena grabbed the alien's arm. "What do they want?" The alien finally spoke one word, deep, broken, and heavy with meaning. "Eradication." The sky darkened as the massive enemy ship hovered above the desert. Its shadow stretched across the dunes like a storm ready to consume everything. Elena felt her heartbeat echo in her ears. Malik stepped back, barely breathing. Even the wind seemed to stop. The alien stood between the humans and the sky, weak but determined. Its glowing eyes dimmed, then brightened again with a final spark of strength. Malik whispered, "We cannot fight that. Humans do not have weapons like that." Elena shook her head. "Maybe not. But this ship might." Behind them, the ancient alien ship that had been buried for centuries began to rise from the sand. The metal surface shook off layers of dust as if the ship had just awakened from a long sleep. Lights ran across the hull like veins filling with new life. The ship hummed, loud, deep, powerful. Almost angry. Elena stared at it. It is responding to the alien. It is getting ready. The enemy ship above them pulsed with red energy. A beam of light formed at its center. Malik knew immediately what it meant. "Elena. They are charging a weapon." Elena grabbed the alien's arm. "We need to move." But before she could pull it to safety, the alien reached out and placed its hand on the surface of its own ship. A shockwave of light exploded outward, sweeping across the desert like a silent wind. The enemy beam flickered and shut down, as if something had blocked its power. Malik stared. What did it do?" Elena watched closely. "It gave the ship control. It surrendered command." The alien ship lifted higher, metal shifting like muscle, turning its massive front toward the sky. Panels on its sides opened, revealing glowing white weapon cores. But the alien collapsed. Elena caught it again. Its breathing was shallow. Its body trembled. "You need to stay alive," she whispered. The alien shook its head slowly. It pointed at the rising ship, then at her. Elena understood. The ship needed a new pilot. A living mind. A human mind. Malik gasped. "Elena, it wants you to control it." Elena stepped forward. "I think humans were the only ones left it trusted." The alien placed a glowing hand on her chest, just over her heart. A surge of light entered her body. She did not feel pain, only heat and clarity, like a door opening inside her mind. She understood the symbols now. The ship's language. Its purpose. She turned toward the alien ship hovering behind her. "I can hear it." Malik stared as she walked toward the ramp. The ship lowered itself slightly, opening its entrance wide like it was welcoming her home. "Elena," Malik shouted, "what if you cannot come back?" She looked at him and gave a small, brave smile. Then you tell the world that humans did not run. She stepped into the ship. The moment she did, the walls lit up, the floor rose, and a soft voice, neither human nor alien, spoke inside her mind. Pilot accepted. Defense mode activated. Elena sat in the center chamber as lines of light wrapped around her like a floating interface. She could see everything, the sky, the desert, the enemy ship above, through the ship's vision. And the ship could feel her. Let us show them, she whispered, what humanity can do. The ship roared to life. It shot upward in a burst of white light, leaving a shockwave that shook the desert floor. Malik shielded his eyes as sand blew everywhere. The alien looked up weakly, watching its ancient ship rise one last time. Above the clouds, Elena faced the enemy. The dark ship tried firing again. Red energy gathered. Elena clenched her fists. Not today. The alien ship's weapons fired, white beams that cut through the air with incredible speed. They struck the enemy vessel, shaking its armor, breaking its shields. The enemy ship fired back, sending massive blasts toward her. Elena held her breath. The alien ship absorbed the attack, its hull glowing brighter. She felt the ship's power growing inside her mind, responding to her emotions, her fear, her anger, her determination. Humanity does not fall, she said softly. She fired again. This time the beam tore straight through the enemy ship's core. The red light burst into flames. The massive vessel split apart, falling toward the desert in burning fragments. Malik fell to his knees in shock. She did it. The alien smiled weakly, eyes glowing faintly. The battle was over. Elena brought the ship down gently, landing beside the others. She stepped out slowly, exhausted but alive. The alien reached for her, touching her shoulder with gratitude. She looked at Malik. We are not alone in the universe. But we are not weak either. The alien whispered with a fading voice, humans are stronger than we ever believed. Elena helped it sit down as the sun finally began to rise again. The world would soon learn what happened in the desert. And when the galaxy came looking again, humanity would be ready.